Scott, I got a really important question for you. Traditionally, uh, intelligence comes from these big government agencies. Why are we not hearing it from these traditional circles?
Yeah, that's a fair question, man, and a really good one. I get a lot when Sarah Adams or Legend or myself talk about this gathering storm of violent extremism that's coming our way and is, threatening the homeland with complex attacks that look a lot more like October 7, where we live, work, and play than the spectacular attacks that you saw with 9/11. And, first of all, there's two parts to that question. Why are we not hearing this from the three-letter agencies? And why are we hearing it from, veterans that served, back in the global war on terror? And, the answer to that question is something that is so critical to where we are right now. And our failure to answer could result in an attack actually happening. And it's very simple. Is when our government decided to abandon Afghanistan and really betray a 20-year ally in August of 2021, the government left behind 99% of its human intel assets, just left them behind, to be hunted by the Taliban. And DOD left behind 100% of their assets, other than the men and women that were able to get into Kaya in the airport and get on a plane. They were all left behind. And so when that happened, a handful of global war on terror veterans, special operators, Green Berets, intelligence alumni, they picked up the phone and started answering the call to these men and women from Afghanistan who were on the run. And they helped some of them get out, but those that didn't get out for the next 4 years, they helped pay for safe houses because these individuals couldn't show their faces or their IDs. They'd be killed. They paid for medical drops, food, for midwives to deliver babies. One of our handlers or shepherds has spent over $200,000, and they call him Grandpa in his circle because he's helped facilitate the delivery of so many Afghan babies. So like they built this enormous rapport with these very well-placed intel operatives and special operators who were giving this high fidelity information to the agencies before they departed, the intel agencies, and now they're giving it to these veterans, right? On things like Hamza bin Laden is not dead. He's alive. He's back in the game. The bin Laden brand is back. Iran is extremely active in Afghanistan with Sunni terror groups. The former bases that were once where we lived and operated are now training camps for even fighters who fought on October 7 from Hamas, like stuff that you're just not seeing. There is no Al-Qaeda 2.0. They are heavily intermarried with Al-Qaeda, right? Or Taliban 2.0. They're intermarried with Al-Qaeda. And the reason that the agencies, Nick, are not providing this information is because when they decided to leave Afghanistan, they didn't turn to the resistance who stood up. They legitimized the Taliban. They pay $87 million every 10 days, even by the admission of Secretary Blinken, that, millions of dollars have gone to the Taliban, but they give it to them through NGOs for humanitarian support and even for counterterror funding to hunt ISIS, if you can believe that. And it's just a big ruse. So there is no priority for collection from the three-letter agencies on this threat. And so the only people that are actually hearing about it are these veterans who picked up the phone and who are on the phone with these abandoned allies. And what's emerged is a very advanced plot of, up to 1,000 well-trained fighters from those former bases in our country who have come across this open border over the last several years, and they're poised to strike. And we're screaming it to the rooftops right now to this new administration to try and listen to us because time's not on our side.
Well, you mentioned the new administration. If you could say one thing to President Trump about this new modern wave of terrorism, what would that one thing be?
We are facing a terror threat on our homeland that's going to make 9/11 look like a dress rehearsal. And the effort in which and urgency in which he and his administration put towards engaging the global war on terror population who has stepped up to the plate when the outgoing administration stepped away is going to determine whether or not we're able to do something about it. The answer not only resides with the top-down institutions under President Trump's administration, but with the very veterans who fought this war for 20 years and never hung up the phone. And if we don't get them involved and listen to what they have to say and integrate them into responsibly handing this information off, and at simultaneously mobilizing our global war on terror generation in the communities where we live, work, and play, because they're the X factor that could actually respond and stand up against this when it overwhelms everything else. This is an all hands on deck for private public partnership like we've never seen before.